Assalamu alaikum. How is everyone? I was listening to the ministers also, and I think he told us about what's going on in our slavery, and we're pretty well aware of that. Now, we want to know what is expected of God. What did you come here to hear? I hope you all come to find out exactly what must be done and how much time we have left. We have any Christians here? One? I want to make sure, we have anybody from the ministers' camp? Ms. Farquhar? All right. Well, whatever denomination that you're from, or whatever camp that you're from, whatever you need to ask, I want you to get a good understanding today of what you already know or what you think you know. It's not that I want to teach you something new without you understanding what you already have. Now, the floor will be open for questions. Whatever you have to ask of me, I'll be more than happy to answer it for you. Even as I see some of y'all may be a little amazed at my appearance. However, I'm keeping in stride with prophecy. This is the first time I've spoken in the state of Alabama as myself or to any number of people. So today we want to make it the first, maybe possibly the best. We want to make sure, if there's something wrong, we want to make sure that you all feel comfortable in whatever you want to ask me. We already know about the floods, the storms, the pestilence, and the things that has been prophesied in the Bible and other religious writings as to what will be taking place, and it is actually happening. Now we want to know, what am I doing about it, and where will you fit? Usually, this is keeping in trend with most of the other meetings we have. It starts off very slow as far as the people coming in, and that's not a very good practice. Because once we get started into it and you come in after we're really going and you don't know what has taken place before, it may sound very strange to you without getting the format or the platform for this. We have written in the Bible, in Genesis, about let us make man. Let us make man. And we can bear witness that a man was made opposite than ourselves, even in color. Moreover, his actions is opposite of ours. They're the actions of a person that is not righteous, and we made him by nature not to be this way or be righteous for a period of time. And this is one of the things we must understand. For a period of time. So what we have been in and through has been a plan of the ones that made this other man. Now, we're going to have to come back into being ourselves, the maker of him, and make things right again. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
We're not going to have too much time today. The clock's going to run out pretty quickly. So all of you all that have questions, and if I haven't said enough for you to get an idea of where I'm coming from, you just ask your question, and I'll answer it, whatever you ask, and let it be yours. I'm opening the floor in a few moments. See the brother. How many have questions? Oh, that's good. Well, I was promised quite a few more people would be coming. And I think we're going to take this up until, what, 9:15?
Yes, sir.
Till 9:15. We have until 10 o'clock before we must be out. We got to take all this equipment out. However, like the minister said, before you leave here, make sure you go back to the rear of the table and get the products, some of the products that we've already started making available for us as our people. And we have our own beauty care, soap, and a few other things that we have that is for us, and it's for the actual building of the nation. And what I'm actually doing as Solomon, making a place for you to be active in. And when you're active, you have to learn how to think. What I do, I don't have a place and then tell you what to do. If we have a nation, everything that a nation does must be done. So when you see this, you come to participate in the nation. Then we ask you, what would you like to do? And then you let us know what you would like to do. The only thing we would like for you to do is be truthful to your word. If you know how to do a certain thing, then if you tell us you know, make sure you know. And in doing it, not for money, not for any proudness or any self-aggrandizement, it's going to make you think. The same way we did as slaves when we were in chattel slavery. Most of the inventions that the Caucasian came up with came from us. From the plow on up, we thought of it. From the traffic lights to building of bridges, because we got tired doing it. So we thought of another way to do it. He took the credit for it because he was supposed to. Now, we should be tired again. So if I make a place for you to actually be active in, would you come and work in it?
Yes, sir.
Now, if you work in it and we give you the opportunity to keep your word, in our lessons it reads that, our word is bond. And if you come and tell me that you are a farmer, and you let us know in the beginning that you are, and you come and we find that you know nothing about it, then you have lied to yourself. Not so much to us, but to yourself. Because we're still going to get a farmer. But then we will know what you did. You told other than the truth. However, if you're telling the truth, and you say, well, I'm not a farmer, but this is what I always wanted to do. I would like to do it for our people. And if we say, well, all right, just go get some books. Here's the farm, and go do it. And we want the best of everything that is possible. This will enable you to think. Think. And this is what has stopped us from making progress from slavery until now. You refuse to think. However, most of the things that has already been thought of and you're thinking in the same direction, you can't come up with nothing new. So it's frustrating. Regardless of how hard you think and how intense it is, you can't come up with nothing new. Someone has already thought of it. If you do think of something, it has to be a trick. And when you come with a trick, there's a time period that comes with it. It runs out. So when it runs out, you're back at zero again. You got to start thinking all over again. And most of us, by being black, when you come with a trick, usually after you employ it, the man that is the arch deceiver or the masters of tricks catches up with you. And you find yourself incarcerated. Back at zero. Or he takes what you acquired through the trick. Some of us sell illegal drugs or sell drugs. All of it is illegal if it's not used properly. And a brother was telling me here in, I don't know if it's here in Alabama, but in Florida, if you are caught with any substance that's illegal according to this system, they can take you home. Or if you were renting, they can evict you, take your property. So the trick gets you right back to zero. So we're going to have to do something that hasn't been done by this world. That is called righteous thinking. Any other thinking is futile. It's already been thought of. It's written in the Bible that there is nothing new under the sun. So you can't think of nothing new. This is a dark, dark, dark day. However, the light has arrived. In the Holy Quran, next to the last surah, I think it's called the Dawn. And this is when the God will appear at the dawn. At the darkest hour of night is at dawn. And then light comes. And it enables you to see and put an end to or see everything that you were unable to see in the night. This is what we need now. And the light that we need to have is the light of knowledge of your original self of nature in a way where it gives you power. This is what we need. Not so much nature, but by us being the black man or the originator of nature have served another man. We have served him and made him successful. Not so much as nature, because nature's been against him. But since we're the gods, we even made nature be easy with him. Now, we have to put that energy towards our own salvation. Would you agree?
Yes, sir.
Now, it's also prophesied that there will be many people in the last days saying that they're the one. Many. And we can bear witness to that. There's already quite a few people who are saying they're the one. However, if they cannot come up with anything new, they may be good, but they're not the one. Some of us are going to work miracles, but still, they're not the one. Now, this does not mean that what they come up with that is a miracle won't be used. It'll be like a run in a ladder. You know, when you get so high, if you still haven't got high enough, you got to take the next step. When you find out that you're in error, even if you're in the church and you love Jesus and you love what the preacher teaches or what he preaches, and it makes you feel good. But when you go home, nothing that you've learned in the church can supersede the man that has his foot on you. Can't supersede it. Even when you go to court for what he says that you've done wrong, Jesus very rarely can help you. Jesus really can't. However, if help does come and you give the credit to Jesus, that's you giving it to him, but Jesus didn't. Matter of fact, he made the statement himself. I must go away. For if I go away not, the Comforter cannot come. The Comforter cannot come if I don't go away. And he did not say, I must go away and transform myself into the Comforter and then come back. That's not written. If it is, I haven't read it. Now, the Jesus has most certainly come and gone. And the fullness of Jesus is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. As far as him in the body of Elijah has passed. However, when he was here, the Comforter was not here. He could only give you the message concerning the Comforter and what he would do when he would arrive. Now the Comforter is here. It is I. Even I, the book reads, will come and get my people. I'm here for my people. That is the black man in North America. However, I only accept those that accept me. If you don't accept me, you could be blacker than black. I can't accept you. Because we are the God, we have the power of both natures. We can be just as much as the devil. Or we can be just as righteous as God. So if you come black, black, black upon black, and expressing the nature of Satan, I can't accept you because you don't accept me. Now we have the minister that we set in the seat until I was actually to arrive to remind the ones that came under the teachings of the messenger, and also remind the devil that the teachings of the messenger has not died. It is a plan, and for him, if he had for the time that the resounding of the message or the reminding of it was taking place, he still had an opportunity to do something about his behavior. However, he hasn't. Now the minister himself appears that he has very little understanding of the time and the mighty power of what must be displayed at this day and time. So he himself has turned a deaf ear. However, he's standing in the pathway between you and I. When I come, I shed light where you can see and you can move safely on your own vision. Not that you follow me. You can't follow the sun. The sun gives light and you go wherever the light is shining. But the sun stands still. And this is what I do. Although I may be traveling across the country, the knowledge that I'm sharing with everyone that wants it is original knowledge. It is confirmed. It is absolute. So you don't follow me. The knowledge itself is everywhere at your disposal if you would know how to use it. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, when you all leave here and you go to speak to someone else and they want to think you're crazy for coming out seeing a man thinking he's God, how could this be? Don't pay no attention to that. The die is set. The die is set. The destruction, the moment is already set for the final analysis of the destruction. If you don't know when it is, and if you don't know exactly what to do, you're in danger. I, being God, until that time actually arrives, I'm bringing it on more and more so you will know something is wrong. God himself is not pleased. What should I do to make sure I'm in his pleasure? And that is not following no man. If you follow a man and he's telling you to follow him, when Elijah passed, that was the end of someone to follow. If you followed him, he led you to me. Those of you all that have the messenger's teaching or have the foundation of it, you understand what I'm talking about. Those of you that don't have it, know nothing of it, you are at the mercy of how I share knowledge with you and those that are with the messenger. I hope you all understand what I'm saying or what's being said. There isn't very much time. If we have no more time than just till year 2000, that's 4 more years. Now, it can't stay this way. Things happening gradually or happening at the same pace. It can't stay that way. Because we're not going to bring the destruction on where it is just mediocre. And we're not going to do it all of a sudden just boom. It's done in such a way that those that want to see it as hard-headed might wake up. So 4 years from now is not very much time. Would you agree? Would you?
Yes, sir.
By the time they bring in another president, if that happens, time will be up. What are you going to do? From this day forward, you should stay in contact with us. If you can work, let us know. We'll let you know what we have for you to do if you want to do it. If you don't want to work and you want to study, make sure you get our literature, the messenger's literature, and commune or conversate with us so you'll know how to properly interpret it according to the time. A lot of things that the messenger spoke, when he spoke it, it wasn't time for it. Many of us that turned our back on the messenger and the message because he spoke of the mother plane, it will go into action in 40 years. And he was here 40-some years teaching us, and they didn't see, according to their own understanding, as to how the plane would go into action. So they thought it didn't go. So they say, well, he told other than the truth. But it did. If it didn't do anything but take him. Now, this Son of Man that is here, that the Lord is commissioning to get his dry bones and put flesh on it, and put skin on the flesh and stand them up and put them in heaven at once is here. I'm the Son of Man. I'm saying this so whatever caliber of question you have to ask, feel free. If you know God as Jesus Christ, if you know him as Solomon or Joshua, if you know him as, what's another one? The Lamb, Son of Man, what's the other brother in New York? Belshazzar? Or Belshazzar. All those names are referring to one man. And you all today in the state of Alabama are the only ones that's actually looking at him with your eyes. Now I'm about to open up the mic so you can ask me questions, so you can take a look at my mind and see if it's pleasing to you. So you all still have questions. Let me suggest this to you. If you can't think of anything, base your questions on what you have heard as to what should take place. If you're a Christian and you know the Bible well, ask from that to make sure your foundation is firm. This is not a sermon, and I'm not a preacher. I'm a teacher. So this is why this may not seem like, well, I'm arousing your spirit. I'm to arouse your curiosity. I have to deal with your thinking. And there is no one today, in no place, that is dealing with the man's thinking. They deal with your emotions. Is that clear? Well, like I said, we don't have very much time. So if we have any questions, I'm going to bring it on. You all may come to the mic and we can start and get into it, because once we get started, time is going to go just like that. So if you have questions, come to the mic and pose your question. Yes, sir. Brother Minister? Yes, sir. Go ahead. Yes, sir. Good.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
On behalf of the Ministers of Self here in Mobile, Alabama, I would first like to welcome you here. We have certainly been looking forward to you arriving in our city. And I'm extremely happy once again to be looking you in the face. But however, I have a question, being familiar with most of the believers here. A question that seems to be on most of our mind is simply this. As you've already stated that there is to be a transition on the third meeting with yourself and Minister Farrakhan, and you will, after that meeting, take your rightful place, if you will, the Nation of Islam. It seems to be, and I have heard the minister speak to this, even though he did not call you by name. He has spoken to this, and he seemed to oppose this vigorously. And if that is indeed the case, I would like for you to speak to, knowing that this would be an orderly transition because we are all Muslims. I would just simply like for you to speak to how would that come about. And I will have a seat and let you answer it.
Yes, sir. Those of us that have a knowledge of who the minister really is according to scripture or prophecy, at this particular time, he's styled as Aaron or Adonijah. In the book of Kings, he's really Aaron also in the Quran. However, I'm going to speak out of the Bible. And Adonijah already had the kingdom after David passed or on his deathbed, which means not meaning that the messenger is actually with us. However, the message is much stronger than the minister. So it's like the messenger is passing, or David, according to what it reads in the Bible, in Kings, First Kings. It's like David is old and full of days and he's on his deathbed. It means that the message that the messenger brought to us, as far as it remaining a message, the time for it is running out or has ran out. We're right at the end of it for it to be just a message. However, the person himself is actually expired. He's gone. Now, in that absence of the person, the Minister Farrakhan, Minister Lewis, is in the seat. He's sitting on the seat, running what's supposed to be the nation. However, that's not who the scripture or David said is to be the head of the nation. It is to be Solomon. Now, Adonijah, which is Minister Farrakhan, is concerned because he already has the nation. And he don't see where I should have it. And he don't see no one with me that is confirming that I should take it or why he should give it up. He don't see nothing that I have done. So much so that it is written, even the powerful men that was with the messenger as officials and whatnot, the elders, that he did not call to the supper with him or to be with him, meaning for him to be and let the flock feed him instead of him feeding the flock. That's what it really means when you read that. He didn't call some of the top officials from David, his father, with him. Now, since it appears he didn't call and they didn't have the power to intrude and make him accept them, it looks as though he's got the power. So he ignored me. Now, to answer the question, how is this third meeting going to take place? If you read further on down in the ending of chapter 1 of 1 Kings, it reads that Solomon, because the elders placed Solomon on the mule, and what Solomon was doing in the land, and what he was causing the people to do, the ones that was with David, to be happy again, to rejoice, to stand up. And it reads that the pipes piped and the people sang, so much so that he himself asked, where's this noise coming from? And his brother Jonathan had to go and let him know. It's coming from the people in the city. They are rejoicing because of Solomon. Adonijah, or prophet, what's his name? Nathan the prophet. And Bathsheba, Benaiah, and Nathan, I got to get these names right. Nathan the prophet, Zadok the priest, and Benaiah is placing Solomon on the mule. And Zadok the priest and Benaiah, those 2 or 3 anointed Solomon's head with oil, or anointed him with oil and placed him on the seat. Well, the minister heard of this. This means that Abbas Rasul is with me, the secretary for the messenger, for the nation of Islam. He was the secretary, he is. Where he goes, he has taken the secrets with him. He didn't leave them with the minister. Minister Farrakhan or Lewis was not the secretary. In our lessons, it reads that the secretary is so important that any rewards that you get must come from the secretary. The minister don't have the secretary. He's with me. Now, with the things that I'm doing and exposing him with the agent of truth, not going out just pointing at him and exposing him, just by speaking the truth, shining the light, because he was the bright and morning star, or the bright star in the night. But this is at the dawn now. This means that the sun is coming up, and you can see all the tricks that were played on you in the night when the star was shining. So when you see what he has done, this brings about fear. He has placed his love in the people or from the people. This is what makes him tick, not Allah. That's why you don't hear him saying no more, Allah who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, or the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the last and greatest messenger. But you don't say that. For some time he has been saying it. But he has a lot of people come to listen to him and clap and cheer him. He feeds on that. However, here comes Solomon. Comes along and starts shining the light. And then the people start to see. And when they start to see, what rises up in him is fear. And when he fears, he knows there's only one me. But all the people that he has kept in the dark, now they see. And since he was the light that's supposed to have been the light, he should have saw me. Why didn't you? He won't have an answer. Just that fact alone instills fear in you. And if you think it's not so, think back when you were a child and your parents asked you a question and you lied. Things that they didn't know. And then they start telling you certain things. You say, they do know. Fear strikes you. Because now you're at their mercy. You don't know what they're going to do to you. Because you did two things. You did what they asked you about, then you lied. At least two things you did. Now, first time, if you told the truth, you was only in trouble for one. But since you lied, you were in trouble for two. And the second one, the lie, is worse than what you did. The people will see that. So I have positioned myself in such a way, nobody can help him but me. So he's going to have to call. It reads in 1 Kings, at the bottom of it, Adonijah feared because of Solomon. And he asked Solomon, or he sent word, I will turn the nation over to you if you promise not to kill me with the sword. The sword is truth. It's not literally sword. And the Christians talk about a two-edged sword. That's talking about the truth, because going and coming. So what he was asking me in the language of that time, don't kill him with the truth. Meaning that I'm letting everybody know, and they see. And when they see him. So now, where is the money you took from us, minister? I can't go and get my wife back that I lost because of you, minister. I can't redeem my home that I put up for mortgage to keep up those pledges. I can't get it back. Are you going to help me now, minister? That type of fear comes in. You see? And the brothers that had to take certain whippings and whatnot. All of that is coming back to visit them. Now the ones that were with him, he had nobody to help him, according to the book. The book reads that each man got up and went his own way. So he was by himself. Does that answer the question?
Yes, sir.
Right. Any other questions? Yes, sir. Right ahead.
If you all have questions, you can line up at the microphone.
Yes, sir. You can line up at. Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Wa alaikum salam.
My interest is in knowing that there are a lot of other brothers of the Nation of Islam, that's doing a lot of teaching in the United States. One particular brother comes to mind. His name is Silas Muhammad. He has other ideas that he teaches about. Well, my main interest is this. In dealing with the hereafter, is there a teaching that you teach that would tell us more concerning the hereafter, since we know very little about it?
Oh, absolutely. We have mathematical thinking classes that are set up that you come to the classes and actually be taught how to think. Now, however, I've spoken on many tapes about what is in the hereafter, what we should look forward to, and what's already in the makings for that to actually materialize. You know, I answer questions, and whatever people ask me about the hereafter, whatever specific thing they want to know, I tell them. We actually teach about the hereafter. The main thing that we must learn, even if I teach you what is going to happen in the hereafter, if I haven't taught you how to think, it's not going to benefit you. You will still be a follower. You have to learn, I have to teach you how to think so that what is in your mind may be a part that's supposed to be in the hereafter, and I make a place for you to come so you can learn how to bring it out by the time the hereafter arrives and you bring it out. But if you're waiting for me to do everything and I bring it out, it's always foreign to you. You can only say, well, a black man did it, or God did this. However, when are you going to say, well, we or I did this from the blessing of God, or I think like God, or I can understand what God did and I can see how it is here to serve us because I can see, I understand it. That's what I do. I teach you how to think. And it's called mathematics. In our lessons, it reads that the devil put us in this miserable condition in a mathematical way. He didn't just do it, well, I hate black people, and let's go out and string some up. And that would scare them to death, and they do it. He didn't do it that way. When he paid your salary, he calculated it and made sure he got it all back. He caused you to be married, he made sure he took your wife in her thinking so you wouldn't have her. You be in the house with her, but you don't have her. She thinks like him. So he did it, he mathematically did this. The only way we as the black man or any God going to come out of this, we got to come out mathematically. So yes, sir, whatever you want to know about the hereafter, if you can form it in your mind, you want to come and ask me, I'll answer that. But just to go on about, one of the things that's going to happen, the females, when they have their children, they won't have it from their womb. There won't be no more fainting in pain. There won't be no more menstrual cycles. The man that put the child there will have to summons the child from the mother. So if it were such a thing where someone could impregnate your wife and you didn't know about it, and she says it's yours, you could never summons that child. Only the father that fathered the child can summons the child to come out. I don't know. I don't know if that's one of the things. Very simple. But there are many, everything like Revelation starts off, Revelation 21 starts off about the new. I saw the new heaven, the new Jerusalem. Everything must be new. Everything. And that is to come here, right here, after I have actually destroyed Satan. Not so much just the devil, but Satan. Now, I'm an individual. I don't restrict you from going to different places. I would advise you don't go to anything that's negative, that's going to do any harm to your thinking or your health. However, go to listen to Minister Farrakhan, Warwick Dean, Silas, any of the brothers that see that they're the one or they're teaching. I don't restrict anybody that's listening to me or anyone that's with me from going. However, I can guarantee you this, that there is no one that you will go to and hear or see, and you will get the same experience that you do from me. I'm a person that's free, and I'm dedicated to make you free. Not to follow me. Not to act as though I'm riding Lord over you. I am the Lord, but I'm the Lord over the truth. Not no person. Now, if you want to be with me, you come with that same formula, truth. And since I have perfected it first, to a more finer degree than you, then I'm obligated, if you really want it, to share with you how I do things. How I make it rain. How I make the earth crack. How I make the sun shine. How I make people think. How I make them do some things as our enemies that keep us safe. I'll teach you how to do the same thing so I won't have to be so busy. You see, if you're going to do it just like me, I don't have to worry about how you're going to do it. You're going to do it like me. So I don't have to come to Mobile. If I got the minister, if he's doing it just like me. He and I just talk. He tells me, well, Brother Solomon, so and so and so and so took place. I said, I know I felt it. These other teachers, they call them, well, they're not teachers. They're preachers, ministers. But not one is a real teacher. Silas is an individual. He has quite a bit of knowledge. However, it's it's almost total triple darkness to this, what I'm sharing with you. The rest of the ones, they have a lot of knowledge that's mixed up with falsehood. However, just the way that they deliver it with the unsureness, or they're always talking about God, or they're talking about some prophet, and they're speaking about that this person was so great, and they did this, and God loved him so much, and Abraham and Prophet Muhammad. Now, fine, that's behind us. Right. You ask me what is in front of us, they can't tell you. I can't. So they can't do what I'm doing. And Solomon is written already in the Holy Quran and in the Bible. It reads this way: we're giving him more knowledge than anyone behind him or in front of him. He will have more knowledge. In the Quran it reads, we gave him more knowledge, or gave him a little knowledge of everything, and he don't have to answer to nothing or no one. So I don't have to answer to the minister. I don't have to get on my knees and pray to Allah. I don't have to holler Jesus or Jesus Christ, because I don't have to answer to them. In fact, they have to answer to me, because I'm the sender of them. Now, if you think Jesus could return, and he said, I'm not God. On the cross, if he was God, he would not say, Father, Father, why have thou forsaken me?
That's right.
If he was the Father, he'd be talking to himself. So he didn't send himself. So if he could come back, why can't God come? As how he pleases. Just a thought. Yes, ma'am.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
My name is Sister Jamila Ali, and my questions are from the Sisters of the Minister of Self Temple. So I have 4 questions. Number 1 is, when will the people recognize you as being God in person? Number 2 is, when will we come back to our original selves? Number 3 is, does knowledge alone make you God? And number 4 is, why do we resist the knowledge of self?
All right, well, you want it? Don't go. State the first question, because I'm going along with you. I want everybody to hear, and I'll answer them one by one.
When will the black people recognize you as being Allah in person?
When it gets to be, when I've just about gotten all of the 144,000's ear, when I came and collected the remnants, or the ones that was with the messenger, they are first. They worked first, so they should be first. Now, when they start to see, by the time they see, I'm going to be standing publicly and saying what I'm going to do before I do it, and where it's going to be done, and what time I'm going to do it. That's going to let them know that I actually am God. However, before I do that, first is first. When the messenger accepted Master Farad Muhammad, or Allah in his person, Allah wasn't throwing down any thunderbolts and lightning. He was just speaking. And the messenger recognized him from knowledge. It is imperative that the 144,000, since there was more than 144,000 that came under the messenger or with his teaching that accepted, it is the only ones that we can tell who really is the 144,000 is the ones that actually come from speaking the word. They're supposed to know their mother's voice. Now, if I did all these things, announcing what I'm going to do, when I'm going to do it, how I'm going to do it, and where, then they would come not on the word. So all of them will come and be more than 144,000. So that would be a problem.
My second one is, when we come back to our original selves?
After the fear of Allah takes its proper hold on you. Right now, most black men fear the open enemy, because most of you are doing wrong. You fear the IRS, they're going to get you. You fear the police going to catch you. You fear your wife is going to turn you in, or your husband going to turn the wife in. Now, when the proper fear comes about, that's when.
Does knowledge alone make you God?
No, ma'am. Knowledge and the will to do right with the knowledge will make the black man God. However, there is a God, or the God of gods. That is myself. And knowledge alone cannot make me Allah or God. It is my very composure or my makeup. I'm one that is one, the only one that is made up of all positiveness. I have no negative in me. I cannot think negative. I receive it from you all. But for it to be a part of me, it is not. And that is what makes me Allah.
Why do we resist the knowledge of self?
We resist now because we're coming up from being dead. We don't know what it will actually make for us. We do know, or we think, it will make trouble for us. So since you think, most of you think knowledge is against the open enemy. However, it is if you don't know how to express it. If you know how to express knowledge, he wants you around him. But most of us don't know how to express it. So having the knowledge actually makes you afraid that you're going to be retaliated against from the open enemy. So that's what makes them very slow in accepting until they see that I am God. If you're with me, nothing going to happen to you. I made the vicegerent. We made this open enemy. Open enemy. The enemy that we should be concerned about is the one that lies in your heart and in your thinking. That negativeness, the Satan that's in you that has something to say. That's the one that you should fight against. This man that you see out here that owns this hotel and everything, we have nothing to fear from him. He already knows who we are. And when you come into the knowledge, this is the first thing he knows that takes place with you. When you actually are into the knowledge, he knows that you respect everything. You're not going to just run after him to do him harm. Now, he runs against you, you're going to protect him.
Islam political?
No, ma'am. The one that's there now, which really isn't a nation. However, since it has the temple that we got, Master Prophet Muhammad got for the messenger on Stony Island Avenue, and had the home built, the palace and the other 4 homes, we say that's the seat of the nation, but really there's no nation. However, nothing of God or Allah is political. Not in the way that we know politics to be. It either is or it isn't. The only way we be flexible with the truth is to who we're sharing it with. If we have a small child, you don't give them truth without love, because it's too harsh for them. And even the ignorant man, that's a man, but he's ignorant to how things really is. The Bible says that the letter of the law will kill you, meaning the straight truth without any fluctuations in it. If you are growing into truth, that will kill you. Now, when we exercise government and legislation, it will be for whatever thing we're bringing about will determine what level of truth we will express. It won't be no falsehood, but it won't be no harshness of the truth. It will allow room for you to grow. It has a margin there, not of error, but a margin for you to bounce around. If you do something wrong and that's not your will or your intentions, and you're on the right path or the straight path, no one's going to kill you, because everybody that's on the path is for the same thing you are. They're going to help you back up. So no, ma'am. In the sense that we know politics to be, no, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. My name is Marlon Russia Allah Vakil. I'm a part of Mr. Sif Temple. Brother James Ali, Mr. Self. I want to ask you this one question. I know God lives within all of us. You know, knowledge of God lives within all of us. But I want to know this. I mean, try to study the Bible just to put out all things there's truth in it. It says that when God comes, He would abolish death. And I want to know. And I've been looking at reality. All things died, and then everything get recycled, you know. I'm saying, it's just a possibility that truth of the man God can put down death. What you answer that for me?
Oh, yes, sir. That's my main objectivity. That's my main purpose for even being here. I'm not here to make things right and then deny you from living in right forever. I'm here to actually destroy negative, the agent of death. And this is why it's written in Revelation 21, no more tears, no more sorrow, no more sadness, no more death. All of the things above that are attributes of death will be wiped away. And it's also a question asked by God in the Bible. He asked death, oh, death, where is your victory? Oh, grave, where is your sting? Might be vice versa. However, the question was asked because there was no more death, physical death. I'm going to make all of you all just like me. When I destroy negative, not destroy white people, you know, that's automatic. I mean, they got the motions and destroy their own self. We don't have to do nothing to them. They destroy themselves. But the Satan, the negative or the force that commands the open enemy and us to do things wrong or think wrong, that's what must be destroyed. That's the agent of death. So I'm here. If I had any part of it in me, I couldn't do it.
That's right.
But since I am negative free, he has no power over me or in me. And I have the power to destroy him, not kill him, but destroy him. And when that is done, that's the end of death. And that's another thing about the hereafter. You will live forever. And you might say, well, who wants to live here forever? Who said you had to stay here on this planet forever? You can't get to end of space. Go create your own universe. When you get sick of that, go create another one. You see? So you live forever. If you don't want to live forever in that body, you don't have to die. Change the body. It's only material. And mind is over matter.
That's right.
So you don't have to let this matter pass or die. Change it. And never break your stride. Answer it? Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam.
My name is Brother Karan Sharif, and I'm a practicing minister of self. My question to you, sir, is did you come into the world knowing, or did someone tell you who you were?
Well, let me say it this way to be very careful. I didn't break any of the laws that already existed. After we made the woman, and we made it a law that only life can be produced from two, even the human or the highest form of life must come from two, man or male and female. Since the God made the law and not the male and the female, God made the law. So I had to come the same way as the body. I had to come from a man through a woman. Now, I grew up in this so I could get a fine-tuned ear as to exactly how Satan works. If you are a fisherman and all you know is fishing, this means you got to know the boats, you got to know the waters, the tides, the winds, and the streams, and where the fish swims, what kind, you got to know all that. But you don't know nothing about driving a car. You don't know nothing. Now it comes time for you to take the automobile and go someplace in emergency, but you know nothing. So someone has to tell you about that. Now, because you are mechanically inclined or you are a thinker, they only have to tell you once. And if it is you, it will agree with you once. If it's not you and it don't agree with you, it has to be written down so you can read it many times. Like when you go someplace, you're lost, and somebody tells you on the phone how to get there, and you don't write it down, what did he say? However, if you're a person that has a photogenic memory, because that's just you, and you go say, well, listen, I want to know how to get to so-and-so place, and they tell you, well, go here, take a right, go there, and you see so there, you got it. You don't even have to look at it no more. Well, this is the same with me. The body and the makeup of the body is for the entity of all righteousness. Now, the body had to take time to grow up to stand that type of power. So when I was growing up, I didn't know. I knew it was something different about me from other people. However, it wasn't different in such a way that I was better. I was just different. Things seemed to be easier for me to do. Even things that I had no knowledge of. And someone pointed it out and said, I want that repaired, or I want to go here. I could, and they may not know where the place is. And they tell me, and I could think, I said, that should be over here, or to the south, or to the east, or to the west, or to the northeast. I don't know for sure, but this is where I'm picking it up. Every time it be right there. And sometimes I used to wonder, how did I do that? I didn't have nobody to tell me how it was being done. I was just doing it. Now, it's written in the Holy Quran that we gave Solomon a little knowledge of everything. The first thing they gave me knowledge of was me. And when they did, I found out what made it easy for me to do what I was doing. Now, I come into the knowledge to know that this isn't just for me to do things easy. This is for the salvation of the righteous. A promise that was made to the original Allah to get the best that he made, his best part of his creation, to save it for him, and to clean up his home, his physical home. So they had to give me a little knowledge of everything that had been created. And in doing so, it fit like a glove. Now, notice I said a little knowledge of everything. Because once you learn how to think, you don't need a lot or nothing. The messenger said Allah in the person of Master Farad Muhammad taught him in hints and clues. He didn't give him no full scripture or script on nothing. Hints and clues. And I bear witness, true learning comes just that way. You were taught fractions first. Then you became a whole because you had to think on the fractions that you got. And in the course of thinking, it led you to the whole. And you felt good about it because you did it. Nobody carried you to it. You employed the art of thinking. And since the math is already here, it carried you to the totality of where you were going or what you're looking for. So yes, sir, I was told. But the person that was being told, I was supposed to. It's not that because I didn't know how to properly identify myself didn't mean I wasn't that. It's just that since everything has to be confirmed, you have to be told your name. Now, even if you made it up from a collection of names that's already here. So you're still chosen from something that already exists. And if it fits well with you, then you adopt it and you move well with it. You answer to it. But you got it from something that was here. Now, I got about you all what was already here. However, since I self-created myself, this entity that's in this body is self-created. This is the part that I'm bringing in. But the brother asked me about the new. The original Allah could not bring anything new. If he did, if he could, he would have done it. But he didn't. He allowed me to do it because he knew I can do it. So yes, sir, I was told bits and pieces about everything. First thing about myself.
You mentioned the they that told you, but who was that they?
These are the people that run and rule the planet. They are the 24 scientists. The 12 major, 12 minor. In other words, the ships that the messenger told us about that exist and the scientists that operate the ships. Let's think mathematically. If they loved Elijah, and you know when the messenger started teaching about the mother plane and whatnot around 1970, 71, 72, 73, and we start seeing them everywhere. White people start seeing them. Airplane pilots start seeing them. Just to back up what the messenger said. If they loved the messenger and did that for the messenger, and he was the messenger, what do you think they would do for Allah himself? They call me the scientists, the elders. And the Bible calls them the 24 elders, the 20 and 4. The message said the 24 scientists. They made a new song for me. They didn't make the Lord one before I came, but they made a new one for me. They called me the Wonderful Counselor, the Prince of Peace. Not the people in the street were doing this. They were doing this. So they are the ones I'm talking about. They are the same as the Quran talks, the Bible talks about the we or us, and the Quran talks about we. Those are the people that rule the planet. They're the ones that shared this knowledge with me.
My second question is, how do you go about choosing your ministers?
How do I go about choosing the ministers?
Right.
I don't choose any ministers because all of you all are ministers. What I do, I just put the knowledge there, make it available. If it attracts you and you want to speak, if this is something you want to do, then we have classes where you have ministers classes or mathematical thinking classes and FYI classes. All of them are almost the same. If you know the truth and the will to tell it, that automatically makes you a minister. It automatically makes you one. It's nothing supernatural you have to do. No special dedication. No, if you love the truth and you love it in a mathematical way and you have tested it enough to know what you're speaking is true and right, then the people see that it's coming from you, not something I told you to say. And if you can do that, hey, you are automatically a minister. It ain't because I said you when you want.
I hear a lot of brothers say, well, I had a calling to do the word, to teach the word. Is that the same thing?
No, sir. Most brothers that speak from that type of expression, since they have been reared by Satan, they see things through the eye of Satan, meaning his knowledge. The language that we speak, this English, you judge things by the definition of the words that you use. And since I've just come on the scene, and I haven't given you the positive side or definition of these words, even that you have a good heart and you want to do it, you express it through the interpretation of the words that the devil has taught you, and that's in the negative side. So when they say, well, I feel I have a calling, that God has called me, that's not necessarily true. I didn't call nobody. I come to gather those ones that was with Elijah. Now, if you are attracted to what I'm doing and you want to do it, fine. But I didn't call nobody because they cannot do what I'm doing. This is why it's written that God himself would come and do this because he couldn't trust nobody else. Because of the mere fact that you have negative in you, you may stumble. Which if it's left alone long enough, that's exactly what would happen. So I didn't call nobody. I'm calling as a particular person. In other words, as a whole, I'm calling the black man. I'm calling God. And if that part fits you, will stand up and take your post. But as far as calling you, it's written in the book here that they say I called them, but I called them not. This is God speaking. It's in the Bible. Now, that's just their way of expressing what they have in their heart that they want to do. The feeling may be so natural to them and so strong in their nature that they apply it to God and say, God is calling me to do this. But this is your own will that's in accord with the time of what must be done. A lot of brothers is standing up because they don't know me. They say, well, it's got to be me. Ain't nobody else doing it. I better stand up and start doing something. And they start doing this, and when they get into it and they start thinking on it, and more knowledge comes to them, and understanding starts to come. It's a brother in Mississippi. I don't know, the minister may have heard of him. He calls himself the Son of Man. And we went down and seen him, and the brother truly believes that he's the Son of Man. Because no one was standing up that he thought that had the knowledge that he has. But the knowledge that he has is full of errors. So I didn't call him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Now, this does not negate. If you feel as though this is what you should do, go and do it. But don't say God called you. You God. It's just like saying, it's time to eat. They don't call every child in the family, every person in the family to come and eat. They just say, the mother comes, or whoever, if you wealthy enough to have a maid or a cook, this is dinner time, or it's time to eat. So everybody comes. And if somebody is eating and they want to eat, they don't come. So it's the same thing with this. Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
I just want to ask you,
Hold the mic up.
yes, sir.
Hold it up. Okay.
Was Master Muhammad, was he born that he was Jesus, or somebody told him?
No, sir. Master Farad Muhammad was never Jesus, nor was he Allah. We gave him his proper title after he learned his lessons. He was born Farad Muhammad. And his father, Brother Alfonso, took him around to some of these scientists that we just speaking about and paid high sums of small bits of knowledge to give to his son Farad. And Farad took it and investigated it and explored it and learned. So much so that it made him a master over the other 12 major scientists. So after he mastered what he had gained from them, he automatically earned the title master. And that's who he is. He wasn't Jesus. He's a master. Now, after we made him a master, he became a master. And for what was needed to be done in the art of finding us, or looking for the God, or the last people, or the lost sheep, the lost tribe, 13th tribe, he was commissioned to go and do that, find us. Since he mastered the arts and he mastered the powers, so nothing could hurt him. However, he still had negative in him. To make sure he didn't fail, then my entity entered into him before he got here to North America. And I, not him, I did the work. And this is why it is written that Master Farad, the messenger says, Allah, who came in his person, taught me. Not Master Farad Muhammad. However, that's the person that his eyes was looking at. But he was never Jesus. The real Jesus, or the fullness of Jesus, was the messenger. In our lessons, it tells us that Master Farad Muhammad is a prophet. In the problem book, it says that we sent a messenger that labored 3.5 years in this wilderness for our people. So it's calling him prophet and it's calling him messenger, but never Jesus or never God. You understand?
Yes, sir.
That's it?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam.
My name is Derek Shaw, and I'm a practicing minister of self. The question I would like to ask you is according to the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, it is for us to eat one meal a day and to fast at least, I believe, 2 or 3
times a month.
3 times.
3 days every month.
2 or 3 days out of the month, yes, sir.
That's it.
I was just wondering, what is your dietary habit, sir?
Well, with me, I'm somewhat different as far as what has to be done. You know, I could eat 5 meals a day. Since I don't have any negative, it wouldn't affect me in a way that would cause me to think other than right. However, since I'm not like everyone else and everyone else is not like me, what the messenger prescribed is what I told him to tell you. Now, if you want to be healthy, you should eat once a day and fast 3 days out of every month. However, this should be done after we get the nation going or get into it. Now, if you're out here with this devil and you have no place to commune with each other, nothing to build your spirit up, maybe twice a day is admissible. If you do it once a day and you're fasting, it puts you on a different level. Where you're staying at will become, if you go to work, you're at hell. And when you come home, your home is going to be hell. Because you're vibrating on a different level. If you don't have the power to make your whole home the same way that you vibrate on, Well then, and if you can't change it, you have to do things to keep peace where you are, or move. So now, if we want to be righteous and discipline ourselves, yes, by all means, eat no more than once a day. And you should at least have the Navy being included in the meal.
Yes, sir. All right.
However, what I do, it's based on what I want to do or what I see. Sometimes I go to places where I'm around things that is not clean. And I'm supposed to be there. So I may eat twice. I may be someplace that's not clean and I'm waiting for something I can't leave or I'm not supposed to leave. I may eat twice that day. Or if I'm waiting for you all to accept what you hear, and I don't want to go away from you and I'm around you and your thoughts and your deeds and what you do are so far from me, to keep me from being alienated from you, where you would have to eat once a day or once every other day, I could eat 5 times that day and you still wouldn't be up with me. However, most of the time I don't see no reason why I shouldn't eat but once a day also. Sometimes when I'm traveling like this, if I really want to get from one place to another, instead of stopping over, I ask the ones that's with me, do you feel like moving on or should we stop? Well, what you want to do? I said, well, I feel like going on, but if you're tired of it, we can stop. Well, go ahead. We don't even eat. Just go ahead. I go according to what must be done.
Yes, sir.
In other words, I am not rigid in nothing. I see you, you have the appearance of a righteous brother. If I walk by and I see you sitting in the bar, sipping on a little bit of gin and tonic, I'm not going to run in and say, brother, you're no better than that. What are you doing? I may speak to you, so I'm like, brother, and keep on. And I'm not writing it down, on official paper. I'm going to get that, but I don't do that. What I would hope that you do, because you're doing it, you're learning something from it. And don't make it a habit. After you've gotten out of it what you went there to get out of it, turn your back on it. With God. And whatever you fear the most is going to come upon you because that's what you have to master.
Yes, sir.
Even if you fear, I'm afraid not to eat no more than once a day. If you're doing it out of fear, it's going to come upon you in such a way you're going to have to eat more than that. And you see, that's not mastering you. You have to master it. You see? So that's the way I do. And I'm making everybody like me, so you may not be able to do what I do now. But just keep practicing. You're going to do it because you God. You do what you want to do, brother, because you God, after you learn how to think. Is that it?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, Father.
Wa alaikum salam.
Father, I wanted to ask you, what was the significance of Mobile, Alabama, and what does that mean?
Well, the state Alabama means Allah birthed you. I didn't give you to no one else to bring you into your godhood. Now, it appears as though this is the first time me speaking in the state of Alabama, and it's here in Mobile. This is to get you moving or get you started. The germ is being placed here so that you can get to turning on being yourself. In other words, the impregnation is here now. In other words, I'm impregnating you from what you are hearing. And if you rotate on it, what you will start to do will be because of me. And it won't be that this is the last time I will be here, but you are the first of the whole state, and you're right next to the water. So you don't have no excuse for not having the power coming in at you. And from what I've seen and what I've been told, it looks like the water runs everything here. All the sisters just, I don't know what the brothers is doing. But the sisters is in the hotel, they carrying on everything. Was the radio, were we announced over the radio?
Yes, sir.
We were?
Yes, we were.
Well, from what I was told, we were trying to get it on the radio on one station, and we couldn't get it on. The sister wasn't going to put it on. Another sister came up today and say, well, it's who you know. I'll get you on. You turn your radio on in about 45 minutes and you'll hear it. This is not a brother or sister. So, you know, take it and go.
Yes, sir. I have one other question.
Well, let me expound on that one other second if I may.
Yes, sir.
In other words, I don't want to just gloss over this. This is extremely important, although it may seem very insignificant. And this is the way I do things. When I move in with you or move in on you, it's usually so subtle that you don't know it. You may know something has come in, but you don't know what it is. You just know it's not threatening. However, the more you investigate it, you can't get to the end of it. The magnitude of it is beyond your scope of thinking. Now, we're coming through Mobile, Alabama. Mobile. This means that you're supposed to get in motion. And if I am the author of the birth of this state, this means that the real rulers of the country or the real gods has got to be in the South or in Alabama. Now, not just Alabama, but it is most definitely here in Alabama. Now, the other states, Mississippi, and other states that's adjacent to it, they are there also. We got a black belt that runs through. However, Alabama, look where everything started, even with Martin Luther King. But now God is coming here to get the South rolling, coming in Mobile. So don't take this lightly. Everything is being done very smooth. I'm not causing no waves, but I'm making things happen. Yes, sir.
I have one other question, Father. I was speaking with my wife last night, and she was sharing with me that Brother Lewis, Minister Louis Farrakhan, and his followers, or some of his followers, were literally trying to force the government to call him before the Senate. And I myself thought that was a little ironic to try to literally force the government to call you before the Senate to question you. Could you expound on that just for a moment, please, Father?
Yes, sir. This is a man that has been sitting on the seat, and his biggest motion or activity has been in the way of pointing his fingers at white people. What they're doing to him. How the Jews are doing this to him. If he couldn't do that, it appears as though he wouldn't have nothing to do. Now, to make this a grand finale, to keep everybody's eyes off of me and still on him, so that you still won't see him, he wants to force this man to bring him before him and question him before the man is ready. So therefore, it'll make people look like God is with him, because he may win a couple of battles. Not the war, but a couple of battles. This makes everybody, all the black people, think, well, yes, Allah is with him. But they didn't fall for that. They got to get all their evidence, and they do it the way they want to do it. And when they're ready to present it, then they will call him. But his motive is to get the people and get their emotions up to threaten white people that if you don't do what I say when I say it, we're going to bring about some damage. And the poor ignorant black people, they fall right in a trap. This man here is a question asked by God himself. Who is able to make war with this beast? Nobody answered. The elders, with all the power that they have, they didn't open their mouth. Now here comes a foolish man in the theology of time. The messenger was speaking about Peter getting out of the boat, walking on the water. This is Minister Farrakhan. And the messenger called Peter and said, poor foolish man. He thought he could walk on the water. And this is what the minister is doing. He thinks he can walk on the people. The people is the water. He thinks the people will hold him up. The people will hold him up. However, what happened to Peter? And on his way down, this is grounds for the third meeting. On his way down, who did he call for? He saw me walking towards him. So he went and grabbed the people. He's going to walk on the people. Because I was walking on them, but the way I was walking, I wasn't touching them. I wasn't robbing them. I wasn't milking them for everything they got and they get nothing in return. I was offering them daylight, light upon light, offering them peace if they wanted. And during this storm, which the storm is coming in now, I made a statement about just a little while ago about every 4 days you would see something terrible happen. And every 4 days it's been happening. I'm about to call it off now for a little while so that they can assess the damage. I don't want the destruction to become so common that they become used to it. I want it back off so they can look at the blows that's been coming. You can knock a man out, he don't know he's knocked out. It's called a technical knockout. Is that right? So this is what is happening with this man. And the minister is trying his best to get the people to hold him up. But who's able to make war with this beast? I had to come and say, I will. Even I will come. I will take care of this man. I will punish this man that afflicted us for 400 years. I myself will do this. I will free you and bring you out with great substance. That's what's written, that's prophesied, that's not a lie. So this is why he has done that. And it makes the others to see. If he had, by September 17th of 1995, if he had contacted me or sent any message to me any way he could, that he would turn, that he was considering what I'm doing, what you see happening to him wouldn't be happening. But no, he made mockery of me. And I said then he had made me angry. And I vented my anger on him then, and I let it go. So I'm putting him in a situation he can't go back. He can't turn to the right, to the left. He can only walk straight into the fire. He can't turn. And everybody that's with him is going to see this man has been a perpetrator. They're going to see. If I did something to him before then, they would be mad with me, coming after me, and that would have been their death. But I didn't come here to kill them. I come here to give them sight. So since we have a block over your eye, I got to remove that so you can see. So you will let that go and turn, like it's written in your prayer to pray, for surely I have turned myself. That's what has to happen. So I'm allowing this to happen, and the scientist is making sure that it happens for the express purpose of the black man to see he is not blessed by God. And at the same time, why not get two birds with one stone? Let us also see how much our open enemy loves us or don't love us. You see, when they finish with him, you will know that he was not the one, is not the one, and that white folks never will be our friend. Now you might say, well, everybody knows that. They don't. That's right. They don't. They think there is still a chance for him. When I've said there is no chance for them as a people. There will be a few of them that make it for 1,000 years. But what is 1,000 years compared to forever? That's not even a moment in time. If that answers your question, Brother Serene, I don't want to really get into it about him. However, when the God does things, I do it with rhythm. I don't make one move and that's the only move I make. Because I made that move, it ricocheted off and everything else. And everything was pleased because of it. So when I say, well, I'm going to get you, it don't mean I'm going to run over there and jump on you. No, sir. I'm going to get you in your food, in your family, in your job, in your friends, in your automobile. Whatever you got, it's going to, every time you look at it, it's going to say, Brother Solomon. Brother Solomon. And you cry out. Oh, Allah, would I have taken away with your messenger and stuck to the message so I could receive this brother. I am not one to be played with, especially if it's going to damage our people. If it's going to damage you, you shouldn't use me in that scenario against our people. I'm God, and I know it. I don't need nobody to tell me. The truth tells me. And the truth is one thing it can't do, is lie. Does that answer your question, brother? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, I greet you with the greeting words of peace and paradise. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Truly, it's an honor to have you here in Mobile. My name is Brother Antone, and I have two questions. I'm going to ask it in one. And I'm not really here to question God, but I do have a question that I need understanding of. In the beginning, scriptures say God created all things, and He was in the beginning. He was Alpha and Omega, beginning and the end. And my question is, if God created all things and all things are good, so say the scripture, who created this devil? And if God is such a merciful God, who created this so-called hellfire?
Well, everything that's in creation and that was created and even made, because most things, 99.9 things are made, they're not created. There's only been one creation, that was Allah creating Himself. After that, He made everything, and it was good. It's written here in the Bible that after He made everything, and He looked at it and tested it, and He says that, I'm pleased with my handiwork. So even if He made the venomous snake, for the purpose of what the snake does, it's good. For the purpose of what the open enemy is for, it's good. It is a mirror of what we have the potential to do or be. However, so it wouldn't be a burden on us directly from us, what we did is took it out of us and set it before us and let it do it. What we had the potential to do. So in essence, it's good. So nothing was bad. If that answers your question.
Well, I'm still wondering about the hellfire. Where did that come in play?
In other words, if we make a people, I'm saying people, if we make anything for the express purpose of getting rid of it, and the time comes when it is time for us to dispose of it, we haven't done it wrong. We made it for that. And this is the same thing that we have done with our open enemy. We made him and gave him a time. 6,000 years. Now, this is how you will expire. We're going to make a fire so hot that it is going to destroy you. That's why the fire is being made. And at the same time, the effects that you did while you were here in the earth, we must burn the effects of that up. So the fire has to be so hot that it will reach as far as you have gone to destroy whatever you have put in the earth. So that's why it's got to be fire. Fire takes everything back to its essence. And all or essence of whatever it is right. The thing that you put on it to magnify it or to make it big, that's the part that holds the flaw. So when the fire comes, it gets rid of all of that and only leaves the essence. So now the essence of our open enemy is negative. So when we put the fire to it, it just vanishes. It is no more. So that's why fire. We didn't make the man and then say, well, we don't like you. I'm going to make something to burn you up. No. Before we made him, we knew what was going to happen, and then we wrote it down and showed it to him. We're going to put you in a lake of fire. You will be a flame in the fire. Is that not what the Quran reads?
Yes, sir.
And there will be a rope around your wife's neck. So it's not like we're doing something wrong to him. We made him for that. That's what most people don't know. This is a plan. This isn't something that our open enemy just came up and he figured he's going to do and he did it. No. We planned this. We planned to bring him into existence. That's why we say, let us make man. Let us make man. In the book, it would have been better if the devil had wrote it in its true form. Let us make mankind. A kind of us. And we will give him dominion over the earth and allow him to name everything that we've already made and created. That's why when they come up with new discoveries, or they say, well, we've discovered a new germ, or we got a medicine that will cure Alzheimer's now, we've discovered. What they're saying, it was already here. They just discovered it. You see? And if it was already here, who is that we that made him? We was already here before he got here. So we made him to do what he's done, and it would take a period of 6,000 years. After that, he would be no longer needed, and we would get rid of him by fire, and that's why it's that way. Yes, sir. That's it. Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, Father.
Wa alaikum salam.
Father, I love you very much, and I owe you an apology for the slackness of my son. I accept full responsibility, and that won't happen again.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Father, my question I have, would you speak in reference to the proper way we talk to ourselves?
Oh, yes. This is why we have the mathematical thinking classes. Most of us speak suggestively to ourselves. I'll say that again. Now, this is, I hope you all are not going to sleep. This is like a teaching. It's not like a preaching. So I'm not arousing your emotion. I want to get you thinking. So when you leave here, a lot of things that happen to you, you'll know why. And when you know why, you can master how. You got that? Whatever this society or the open enemy is putting on you, in whatever direction or however he's doing it, when you know why, you can master how. And once you master how, you can stop him. Even if it's in you, you can stop it. Now, we've only been taught how to use this English language in a negative way. So when you speak to each other or speak to yourself, it's always in a suggestive meaning. Very rarely is it in a detail or a direct manner. Very seldom. This way, it always gives you an out. Somebody will tell you, well, yes, I'll be there and pick you up. Like many men tell you, I'll be at the meeting. I'll be there. In their mind, they're saying, well, nothing don't happen and everything turns out right now. I have nothing else to do. I may be there. That's what they're really saying. Now, if they spoke directly, I will be there. You can tell it in their face. They're going to be there. Well, that's what they spoke to themselves. They spoke it to themselves, and then they spoke it to you. Since we do this, and the English language is designed for negative, it's designed for this. And until you learn how to think, you're going to constantly be at war with your own self. You cannot make your words bond because of how you speak to yourself. If you say, well, I'm going to the meeting, and I intend to ask the brother this question for the purpose of actually learning, and you mean it, that's exactly what will happen. You will get your question answered, and you will learn from it. If you say, well, I'm going to the meeting, I'll just see if this man think he got it. I'll go there and see if he, just see. You will go there, you'll come, and you'll look. But since you came with such a lax determination, you won't see. And you will leave and say, well, he was pretty good, he was wise, but God, nah. Man could never be God. because you're taking the definition of the words that you're speaking to yourself and condemning your own thoughts. Now, what I did, I said, listen, Brother Secretary, it's time for me to go and speak to some of our people. Let's come up with a tour. And I'm going to stop in Mobile, Alabama. Well, we don't know anyone down there. I said, no. When he called, he was going to get it. Not that, well, he done gone, he's moved. He was going to get it. He called and he got it. So, well, we got to get a place. Well, do what you have to do and get the place. We had a little trouble with the hotels and whatnot, but when the money came in, trouble was gone. In other words, I don't talk to myself, well, just look at it this way. Would you, not being God, a good speaker, would you come before people and speak to them with no teeth? You wouldn't do it. Because the first thing that comes in your mouth, in your mind is, how are they going to accept me? You be thinking on that so hard, you forget what you're going to say. But because I know the why of it. I know why it's this way. So I have no fear of it. Matter of fact, I'm glad of it. This way, whatever move I make, the language that I use to talk to myself with, I use it in a positive way. And it never fails me. It never fails. It got to the last moment, within the last 2 or 3 hours before we came here to this hall. We called the hotel here to confirm that the chairs were set up and everything was right. They said, well, you're not supposed to have it today. We have no record of you having this today. When he picked the phone up, I said, they're going to say it. I already knew what was going to be said. But I said, now, they're going to go back, come back again. Everything will be fine. Exactly what happened. See? Now, if I had anything in my mind wondering, well, we're going downtown. I don't know. That might have worked because everybody I'd have with me would be operating the same way. Maybe. I don't know. We're not that powerful. And we the gods. We gods. Well, I truly hope that you all are learning something from this. Others will be listening to the tapes around the country. They're waiting for them. They're chomping at the bit for us to send the tapes to them. Some we have to overnight them to them. And we had a wonderful meeting Sunday in Tallahassee. And I've gotten reports around the country already that they thought it was an excellent meeting. So those of you that didn't get the tape, do we have any? We have them on the table in the rear. However, this is a teaching. I'm not doing here what I did in Tallahassee. Well, I taught in Tallahassee, but the fire that I'm doing some teaching here. I'm just doing some teaching. In Tallahassee, with quite a few Muslims, there's quite a few here also. However, I want you all, as a base, to start thinking on this. And don't worry about, you got to have a lot of people with you. You don't need a lot of people. First, you get you. You get you. You start thinking on what has to happen. And then you start mushrooming or magnifying this. But it's got to start someplace, and why not with those of you that came? All right? Are there any more questions? We don't have any more? You sure? But take advantage of me. Yes, sir. Go to the mic.
Good evening, Father.
Good evening.
It's a pleasure to see you again. I saw you in Atlanta, and I wanted to follow you to Tallahassee, but we couldn't afford it, so we decided we'd come home and wait on you.
Oh, yes, sir.
We've been waiting on you for a while. Thank you so much for coming.
Yes, sir. Thank you for being here.
Here in Mobile, Alabama, I've always noticed that anything the black man set out to do, it seemed that the Muslim sons always had some designs on it. As we get ready to become mobile and as we go into motion here in Mobile, will there be skirmishes with the Muslim Sons?
It'll be very light. Because what is happening now, because I have now touched this place with my presence and found that there are those of you that want me here, then I have to protect you. So the skirmish that will be coming, you're talking about these Caucasians that call themselves Muslim Sons or the Shriners or whatnot, or even the 3Ks. You'll find very little trouble from them because one thing they do have is fear of the wide awake black man. Now, they know that you are not backed on your own power. If you are intelligent and you're with God, the right God, they know that God is backing you. So they may try you, they may just nudge up against you just to see what you're going to do. And if they see that you are in complete control of your emotion and of your manhood and your being, they back off. If anything does come, they'll try to scare the rest of the neighborhood up that don't know anything to make sure that they don't have anything to do with you. But as far as dealing with you, they'll leave you alone. Is that it? Yes, sir. And everything has to be tested. If this man has been ruling this planet or this part of the earth for over 400 years, and then you come back to take it over, he's not going to just give it to you. He's going to try you. And if you pass the trial, and if you're with me, it won't even be a trial. To him it'll be one. They'll be saying, he took that. Like the messenger told us, there's going to come a time when they'll come and spit in your face. And you look at him, wipe it off, and smile, and walk on off. You say, oh, that's one that's going to get away. You see? Well, why, if he's going to kill you, if you cursed at him or look bad, if he's going to kill you, why couldn't he kill you? Because you wiped it off. You see, he knows there's a power that's with you. Since you had enough power and discipline to wipe it off, due to the time, he knows, don't touch this one. It don't mean I'm going to kill him. It means that I'm going to die. So let me back up. So they know. Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
I'm Brother Yak Abdullah, and during the days of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I was Brother John 2X, and for a while I acted as secretary of Muhammad's Mosque 58 here in Mobile. I hadn't heard of you until just recently, and when I heard of you, and I listened at your tapes, and when I heard your tapes and heard your voice, I was satisfied that you are who you say you are.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I'm proud of that, and I'm glad of this day, and I'm glad I could be here. I wanted to come to Tallahassee, but I'm bothered with arthritis, and so I couldn't stand the long trip. And so I'm just glad to be here, and so I just had to let you know this. And also, I was thinking about, since you really came to claim those 144,000.
Yes, sir.
And I understand that those who had that X. So what I'm wondering is, do I have to write a letter over again?
No, sir. No, sir. You don't have to write a letter. There is a letter of declaration declaring that you do see me as being the Savior or the Deliverer. And you just sign your name as the name that you had under the messenger in your X, and the date that you got it, or the time or the year that you got your X and whatnot, and I'll accept it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum.
And walaikum salam. And we also brought some Ringmaster oil for your arthritis. If you want to get it back there on the table, whatnot. And it was during the time of the messenger also, so we brought it back. Now, there's another oil that's come out that's supposed to be somewhat a little superior to that. We're checking into that now. The black man is an amazing man. He's an amazing man, I'm telling you. When he put his mind to something, regardless of what odds he's under, if he put his mind to it, he'll come up with it. So the brothers the only thing I would suggest that you do, brother, you don't have to do anything but wait on me for a little while. And while you're waiting, get my tapes and listen to it, build your spirit, and talk to others. Others, especially those that are of the same thinking, speak with them. You don't have to chase me around the country, make no large donations or do any of that type of thing or seek anything. Just know that I'm here. And if I'm here, I'm going to get you. I'm setting up things for you. And if I cannot honor the mothers and the fathers of the children or of the righteous, if I can't honor them, well, then I don't have a right to be God. Especially if I told the messenger, I will accept who you accept. And I will reject who you will reject. And if he accepts you and you still accept him, and you have arthritis and you got all these things that this life has brought on you while you were waiting or during the night, I'm here to take it off you. So that's what I'm here to do. That's it. I said, well, make sure you check in the back of the table to see it is a small fee. If you don't have nothing, well, then see the secretary and we'll see what can take place. Because we're supposed to help the poor, righteous Muslims. Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum. Yes, sir. I want to know, how did you get to... Now, I know man have the ability to, with his intentions to do positive, and his intention of doing negative, as I see it. But how did you figure out to how to attain the positive side of us and maintain the control of it within us?
Well, what is it, most Muslims here? Because when I say this, you know, if you're a Muslim under the messenger, you have somewhat of a background to follow me. I didn't become Allah just from this birth, just in this body. I was already Allah before that happened. Matter of fact, we planned this for this to take place. Now, since Allah is self-created, now the original Allah, we have taught that he self-created himself in total triple darkness. Now, there's only one other condition left for another Allah to create himself in. That's in light. So after the original Allah made the sun, and because of the intensity of the power that the sun contains, it made a zone that no negative could exist. 7.5 million miles in circumference of the sun. No negative can exist. Within that sphere, I created myself. The first Allah created himself in total triple darkness, and negative was already there. So this is why it says that negative came with God. Some people say, well, God made a mistake. He didn't make it in the sense that he made it. However, one came with him. Well, with me, because of what he made, the sun, it brought about this condition where I could be created, which I created myself, and there was no negative. So this made my entity and my being negative free. However, after I left that particular zone, everyone has to pick it up. So in staying in keeping with the law that already existed, what I did, when I had to come in the flesh, I brought someone with me, a twin. And to make sure that the negative that was my portion, she took it for me. The woman acts as water. They grab it and hold it and won't let it go. So the portion that I normally would have gotten, she took it. So it left me totally free of negative. So that's what happened. And that's why I'm that way. And I'm the only one. So that's why I can destroy negative. And negative cannot point its finger back at me and say, well, if you destroy me, you destroy yourself too. So this is what happened to the original Allah. When he found out this came with him, he said, oh, wait a minute. I can't go with this. What am I going to do about this? And he searched and he searched and he retested and he did many things until I arrived and let him know. He didn't know I existed. Matter of fact, he passed, left back to another atom he had in space. It wasn't no sun at the time. And he left with such tremendous speed and so terrific that when he hit the atom that he had left in space, it lit. Today we see it as being the sun. But he did it for the express purpose of going away from his home to go from a distance and look back to see, what is this? It won't never, what you say, show itself in my presence. So I'll go away and look back and see if I can catch it. So that's why he did what he did. And in the process of doing that, he set into motion another creation, but he didn't know it. And so when I was completed in my creation, the first place I went, like I did with the minister, after I had completed or was developed enough in my own self from the little knowledge that they gave me of everything, the first place I went was to Minister Farrakhan. Went straight to him. He didn't accept it. But when I went to the original Allah and I came into his home, spiritual home, the first thing he asked, how did you get in here? I'm God. How did you do that? I had to do something to make him know. I'm a bad man. And then when I told him, I can solve your problem. He says, oh really? I said, I most certainly can. And then I start telling him about what his problem is, where it came from, and how to get rid of it. He said, it makes sense, but I could do it if I had the power, but I don't have this kind of power. I said, but I do. I have a heat that you have no idea. And I will put it against your enemy for you. That's why he can't do it, because he don't have it. I do. He said, okay, what I'll do is this. I will take you and show you all of my creation. This is in the unseen now, in entities, or what you all may say as the soul, or the spirit, so to say. We're dealing like this. Now, the final end, or the grand finale of he showing me all this, was the last 400 years that you were here. And when you got here, you was praying when this open enemy was doing all these atrocities to us. Oh, Allah. He made you stop calling on Allah. Cut that out. Will kill you if you call his name Allah. So you stop saying Allah and you say Al. You know, you heard Al. You're really saying Allah. You start speaking in code. But your prayers weren't answered. I don't care how hard you prayed, he still killed you. If he or I had stopped doing what we were doing during the course of the 400 years, it would have interfered with him handing over everything he created to me. You listening? Yes, now, since we already know what happened to you, when you pass and you come back. So it wasn't no big thing about what was happening to you. This gave us a good idea and a good vision as to fullness of what this man would do if left alone. What would he do with God? He would do everything imaginable. From castration to tar and burning to everything he could think of, he's done it to us. Right. However, I don't care what you do to the black man, there isn't but so far you can take him before he blanks out. He leaves. He leaves, so he don't feel this. You don't think he's going through a bunch of misery and all. His body may be, you ever killed a turtle and cook him? Yes, sir. He'd be in a pot shaking and carrying on and whatnot. You may be thinking, he's feeling this, but he's not. He's dead. But the same people that this man did this to is now coming back. And they're going to get their sweet revenge. Yes, sir. You see? Yes, sir. So, Allah, the original Allah, did not stop to answer the prayer. Nor did I stop to answer it. We let the 400 years go. And we completed what we were about doing. Now that has been done. Now I am here. For those that want to be with me. Even if it's the Caucasian. If he wants to be with me, I'll allow him to be with me to his fullest potential. Now, I don't ask of him that he's incapable of doing. However, if he's going to be with me, he has to do what we say. What is to be done? If he can't do that, he can't be with me. That's not prejudice against him. It allows him to go as far as he can go. And it's written in the lessons, it would be approximately in this country here, 3 million Muslim sons that will help Solomon, me. Because I don't care about buildings. I don't care about things. I can make things. I can create things. So what won't, I can make it do. If he won't do, I'll make something that will do and get rid of that won't. This is a wonderful day, black man. The God of gods is here, the King of kings. I am Allah's Allah. I'm working for him. And this is why they call me the Lamb in Revelations. And some part they call me Solomon. David was saying, my son Solomon is young and tender. However, I'm the one that builds the house of the Lord. Isn't that wonderful? Yes. And this is a great and a dreadful day. And I have a whole host of angels that you don't see with me.
Yes, sir.
I can't fail. I can't fail. If I call on the winds, they can't hold back. Matter of fact, I have to keep holding them back. They want to blow. You think about this, Mobile. When you go home, think about it. Because this is so in accord with your nature. If you don't get the tape or some tapes or get in touch with us and do this on a frequent base, things that's in accord with your nature, you don't pay a lot of attention to because it's in accord with you. We like to pay attention to things that stick in us. You know, it's bothering you. You got to solve it. You know, your shoe is too tight, so you keep moving your foot. You know, instead of getting a good shoe. So make sure that you go over this and go over it and go over it. So that this will be a great day for you. All right?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, Father.
Walaikum salam.
It's a pleasure.
Yes, same here.
I have a question here for the secretary. I'd like to ask.
Yes, sir.
Where is it written in the Bible prophecies of a new Allah and the original Allah?
Well, this is in Revelation. The language is this way. The Lord and the Lamb.
Yes, sir.
The Lord, in other words, since the Lamb is Allah and he's greater than the Allah, the original Allah, this makes him the Lord. As long as I'm here. Yes. When I leave this planet and leave this universe, he becomes again the Allah of this universe.
Yes, sir.
And the messenger will be the king of this planet. However, as long as I'm present, the proper titles to make sure you look at number one before you look at number two. The language is that the Lamb and the Lord. And you see where the 24 elders sang a new song to the Lamb and the Lord, not the Lord and the Lamb. And it's written that this Lamb was the glory. He was the light of this new city, this new Jerusalem. He was the glory of it. Not the Lord, but the Lamb was.
Yes, sir.
So it's the language. And if you look at and see what a lamb is, or a lamb, not a sheep. The lamb. That's the most purest, submissive beast or animal that we have.
Yes, sir.
So that's the way that they are describing me. They're speaking in tongues, so to say.
Yes, sir.
In coded language. Because they didn't want you to know this. So when I come along and you ask me, I could give you or share with you the exact meaning of what Allah was really saying, how this man worded it, but what's really being said. It reads in the Holy Quran that Allah don't take any partners. So if this is true, why would we speak of the Lord and the Lamb? Why would it be an and?
Yes, sir.
And why would the Lord be sitting on the throne? He's the one that's got the book.
That's right.
And all the people in his creation, no one in his creation was worthy to come and take the book and then loose the seals thereof.
That's right.
Until John looked and he said, they told him, stop weeping. Here comes the Lamb from Judah that looks as though he's been slain from the foundation of the earth. He's coming and taking the book. Oh, who can take God, anything from God? It means I had more knowledge. So that gave me the right and the authority to take what he wanted me to have, or someone to have. And only someone could take it would be the one. That's why he asked, who is worthy? Right. Not who can come and take it, but who is worthy? Many could have come and took it. Well, I'll take it, Lord, and take it from me. Well, then what you going to do with it? But the one that is worthy means the one that has the knowledge to open the seals and then loose them. Meaning that we talk about the 7 seals, the 7 golden candlesticks. These are all seals, or these are all angels or scientists that is supposed to be the embodiment or working with this new God, this Lamb, to make sure that everything is done right and exact. Now, for these seals are people. To loose them means to get them to thinking properly. Like I had to break the seals on the 144,000 that were sealed in the book of Daniel. Say, go thy way, Daniel, for the book is sealed. The books are sealed. There's 144,000 of them are sealed because they took what the messenger taught. And when everybody come up, they still didn't abandon it. Although they may have went off and ate 3 times a day, they still believed in what the messenger taught. And when it come time for the dawn to come around and the light and the sun to rise again, and when the sun rises, I have to break the seals on them. However, the main seals are the 7 seals that the messenger taught us about. The 7 scientists, not the 24 no more, 7. So that lets you know it's the language in which they put it to you. But that's what's being said.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I have a couple other questions for myself now.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to know what 2 planets reproduce without the female, and what did the black woman do to make her give birth in pain?
Well, it wasn't so much what she did. Let's put it this way, because, you know, sisters here run Mobile, so I don't want to get in trouble. Keep in mind that it is our plan all along. And the females hold negative. And they're also inquisitive. They come up with things to see if you are a man. They tell you things, just see what you're going to do. So when they were instructed, after they were made and they were instructed, do not eat of this tree. Now, didn't no snake come and tell her nothing. She was inquisitive about the tree, this fruit. So she tells her husband, look, I bit this. Tastes rather good to me. I don't see nothing wrong with it. Nothing happened to me. In essence, this is still coded language. What happened is, during the course or in their development and whatnot, they started, since we made them so there was a knowledge before their existence. And they were told not to partake of certain knowledge. It's not a tree's knowledge. She did it. But in it, that knowledge had doubt in it. And the doubt magnified her nature of inquisitiveness. So she comes up, well, what if we did it this way? What if we did bite it? So when they did that, this brought about the weakness and showed the weakness in the man, Adam.
Yes, sir.
You see, now this is not talking about the black man and the black woman. This is talking about the white man and the white woman. However, since now we in this country, male and female, is under the foot of male and female, the white man and white woman, we do the same thing they do. So because of her holding on to it, this is what she did. And then she enticed her man. And once he did it, he made it like, this is law. This is the authority. So that's why. And from that day on, to God when he came and spoke to them, and let her know, for doing that, you shall give birth in fainting and pain. And you, man, because you did that and disobeyed me, you will earn your living by the sweat of your brow. I mean, nothing will come easy to you. If you go in the office and they got air conditioning, you're not sweating. You're sweating inside of your head because you're busting your brain trying to figure, how am I going to meet the deadline? You're sweating. You see, nothing comes easy. Because they disobeyed God. But that was planned.
Yes, sir.
It was planned. Now, black man, are you going to disobey me?
No, sir.
I would advise you not to. It won't be no more thousands of years of you learning or living and going through it in a misery. No. You're going to go through it within a few years. And if you can stand what I'm bringing on you, you're a greater God than me. I'm telling you like this. I am God. I am that. And I don't have to be snapping my fingers and you see lightning coming out. That's not the way I work. I want you to know me from the point of knowledge, not from the point of fear. If you must fear me as I should be feared from the point of knowledge.
Yes, sir.
I have little people, I have little children come up, they don't fear me. They step on my feet, jump on my lap, pull my nose. They just like, when I come around children, they just mob me. But they don't fear. Because they're innocent. You can do the same thing in the way of knowledge. And you can be with me. Now, if you know and you go and do wrong knowingly, then a little fear should rise up in you. But you don't know what I'm going to do. And I don't have to tell you what I'm going to do. I just do it.
Yes, sir.
You see?
Yes, sir.
It's a wonderful thing to have God here. This means you don't have to know what God knows, but you do have to know that I am God. And if you can stay in my light, you will have to know what I know. It's the same if you jump in the ocean and you can't swim to the shore. You're going to take in a whole lot of water inside of you. It ain't going to be just on the outside. You're not going to be able to help it. You'll drown. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So you should want to be with me. What's your other question? Does that answer that question?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
My other question was, what two planets reproduce without the female?
Well, naturally, Pluto is one.
Yes, sir.
We didn't have no... Matter of fact, it's still no. It's not just two. We can go now from... It's four, really.
Yes, sir.
Pluto is one. Uranus was one. Mars is one. Mercury is one.
Yes, sir.
So they don't use no female gender to reproduce their life form.
Yes, sir. I just have one other quick question.
Yes, sir.
I really wish the mic. A question this is concerning mathematical thinking classes.
Yes, sir.
Can parables be used as scenarios?
Oh, absolutely. Especially if you know what the parables are. There's got to be someone there or that knows how to use the math in such a way where the math can point out the exact meaning of the parable. We're not supposed to have classes where you walk away and everybody guessed at it. And no one has the definite answer before you leave. That has taken place before, and what they do, they call me up and ask me, and when they go back to the next class, I tell them what the answer is, and then tell them how to write it, how to get to it. And they go back and make sure that is settled. But by all means, you can use parables. But don't let the people leave and continue to leave, and that parable is never solved.
All right, thank you, Father.
Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Good evening, Father.
Good evening.
My name is Betty Newsom. I live here in Mobile.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's a pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
I have 3 questions. First, I would like to know who will be fighting the war of Armageddon? The next question, what is the difference between Jesus and the Christ? And the last one is in Revelation. It describes Jesus coming back on a white horse, eyes like coals, hair lamb wool, bronze feet. Who is he describing? They certainly are not describing you.
Yes, ma'am. This is I'm not the original Allah. What they're describing there in Revelation is talking about the original Allah. This is why it's styled as being the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. In other words, he had a beginning. And to be technical, he don't have no ending. However, he had an end he ran to the end of his ability of thinking how to solve a problem. That was the end there, but as far as his existence, it wouldn't be no end. When I came about, I solved that for him. So I'm not coming as the way that is described. I'm coming as a black man. But the original black man is what you see, the brand with the eyes that look like coal and the woolly hair. And that's the original one. That's what that means. You understand that? All right. Now they say Jesus. However, I'm the Jesus Christ. I'm the crusher. I'm the one that's bringing about this Armageddon. Now, if you remember in the Bible, it reads that the Armageddon would be, however, the kingdom would be taken without hands. It wouldn't be no hands in this war. It would be taken without hands. This means that I and those that want to be with me, I will show them how to use their power. And we bring about the nature itself and destroy this enemy. We bring about the ants or the gnats or the bees and cause them to sting them in the forehead so it'll feel like scorpions for 5 or 6 months. We make the sun shine and dry up the ground so the cows can't eat. We make the swine sick, but we won't let them die, so when they eat, they get sick. So nobody took up no gun and nobody got mad and grabbed nobody. It's just that, oh, you want to be a devil and you want to die the devil, we got natures against you. And it's being commanded from me and those that are with me. That's who's bringing about Armageddon. And that's how. And that makes me the Jesus Christ, because I'm crushing everything that will not be a part of me or a part of right. If you're not going to be a part of it, you cannot go against nature and survive. It's impossible. I would take the atoms and place it before your nostrils and make them so tight that you can't breathe. I'll make you get so happy and come into laughing and drown on your own saliva. Simple things, you see, that they can't do. And I don't have to touch you. All I have to do is think and send a thought to you. Boom. And let it happen 2 weeks after I'm gone. Don't even look like I did nothing about it. But while I'm talking to you, you insulted me so bad, you can't stay here. So I make your feet so terrible you can't stand on them. And if you lay down on your back, you have boils on it, you can't lay on your back. You turn on your side and it hurts. You lay on your stomach and you can't eat laying on your stomach, but you can't stand on your feet.
That's the wrath of God. That's the wrath of God, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
And one more question. How can, as a black woman, I get rid of the negative?
Well, you will have to have a righteous black man. Now, if you cannot find one, well, then I have to stand in his place. Meaning that you have to stay in contact with me and what I'm doing through tapes, literature, or the temples that we set up, or mathematical thinking classes, and invent. Open up what's on your mind. Get to the why of it. Why do I feel this way? Why do I act this way? What can I possibly do to change it? And then when you find out, it's like the book reads, ask, and it shall be given. When you find out, go and do it. If it says you should fast 2 or 3 days a month, do it. If you need a man that to help you, a woman needs to be supported. She needs to have security. She needs that. It's not her fault. We made you to need it. And if you didn't need it, right away we come and say, well, look, she thinks she's a man. Because it's out of order. So you're in your right place. A righteous man is supposed to secure you, not dominate you, not make you do things that is not right. You have rights from God. He's supposed to make sure that you are free to exercise these rights. And when you do it, you're happy. And in being happy, you make him happy. You bring his children up to be happy.
That's right. Yes, sir.
So that's what you need.
Thank you so very much.
Yes, ma'am.
I've got several questions. The first, I guess, is probably on the line of hers. I want to know, when will the negative end with the black man?
With the black man? Well, it's going to end when I destroy it, and that should be somewhere around 2010 or 11. However, the black man has the power to subdue it. It don't have to be destroyed for him to come back to be God. He has the power to turn his light on and no darkness can come in. Then he will have the potential for darkness to come in. In other words, Satan will whisper to him, but he won't answer. You know, it'll be like the bill collector call you on the phone, and you tell your wife to tell him, I'm not here. Or he come knock on the door, you don't answer the door. So the same thing he has the potential to do with negative. But he won't do that until I provide a place for him to be active in, to work in his own place. He has the right to be the authority in that place, and he wants to do nothing but right. So then this way he starts thinking in an authoritative manner. We can't come into this hotel here, even have the meeting. And I don't speak the way I would really like to speak, with the power and force and authority to make sure that you get it because of where I'm at. I still respect this. However, if I'm in my own temple of candidate or in my own house, I speak the way I want to because I have the authority to do it. And the way I want to is to do it right and exact. And when the black man does that, he will lay dormant that negative. And you will get the same results from him as you would if it was completely destroyed. It's just that when it's completely destroyed, he won't have nothing to fight against. That's when.
Father, can you also tell me, you were talking earlier about the elders. I want to know what is the role of the disciples, Peter and Paul, that we've talked about, Paul talking about in Revelation, seeing a new Jerusalem. What are the disciples?
Well, these are people that were before our time, so to say, to give us somewhat of an insight or an understanding of what would take place today. However, it's written that in that day, the disciples and the angels will be standing in the ranks. Meaning, it means that the idea or the entity that they were during that biblical time that we speak about, those entities will return. And they will be in other bodies, other material, but it will be the same type or the same entity. Such as Minister Farrakhan. He's Peter. He's Aaron. He's the fullness, he's the live, living man now. That is him. The biblical man that you read about, when you read about Moses and Aaron, or if you read about Peter, that's in his fullness, that's Minister Farrakhan, Minister Lewis. So you have these people coming in. However, regardless of who they are, they have got to submit to the new God, the new thinking. I haven't gave them that yet. I haven't shared it with them. They only know that I have it. And they have agreed to come to prepare a way for me to bring this about, to bring about it to be new. So that's what is actually taking place now. So when you see the people that is carrying out the character of what happened in the past, more than likely that is the person that was then. That's that entity back again. You know, you hear a lot of people say, well, my mother passed and she's been gone now for 30 years. And I was downtown sitting on the bus step or sitting on the bus, sitting at the bus stop. And a woman come up and I could have sworn it was my mother. Matter of fact, I got up to go and I went to look. And she walked around, I didn't see her no more, but I could have sworn it was my mother. It couldn't very well have been. If you read the Quran, you will see where there is never an entity that was created that has described as being dead. Nothing could get rid of it. Nothing had the right to get rid of it. It will pass and come back, pass and come back, pass and come back. You know, when I think it was Jesus that asked Peter or Daniel, which one, he said, how are you doing? He said, my entity or my soul feels good and wonderful, but this old body I'm in. You see? So it means that the body gives out, but the entity that rules the body or dictates to the body never dies. It can't die. It's impossible. You've been here many times. Came here this time because I was coming.
That's right. One last question, Father. You've talked about Louis Farrakhan, but I would like to know, or for you to explain to me, because I am not a Muslim. I want to know the difference between Farrakhan's religious teachings as well as Elijah Muhammad or Wallace D. Muhammad or the others.
Yes, ma'am. Well, the messenger, let's start with him. The messenger is an individual that we raised up and gave him a message to let us know what to do at this day and time. A messenger and a prophet is two different posts or two different things. A prophet tells you what's going to happen in the future. A messenger tells you what to do when the prophecy comes about. You see what I'm saying? In other words, he gives you instruction. That's the message. Now, when so-and-so comes, you do this, you say that, and you do the other. But it is not a teaching. It's a message. Now, the messenger came to give us the message. The ones that accepted the message, let us see who we are. We see who we are. We see who our enemy is. Now, in order for us to be tested, if we really believe what the message is and what the messenger told us, here comes another man to test you. This is Wallace. He comes and say, well, you know what my father taught? There was some of it was good, but you know, that's not Islam. That's dogmatism or whatever they call it. You should adopt the real Islam, the Quran and Prophet Muhammad of 1400 years ago. Now he's talking to the ones that came under the messenger. He didn't go and talk to somebody else.
That's right.
He did this as the head and leader of the nation of his father's nation. So he's talking to us to trap us up. Now, if you did not believe the message or accept the messenger as delivering the message, you would fall for it. So what he did was separate the wheat from the tare. Now, here comes, after that has been completed, here comes the Minister Farrakhan to inspire the ones that is the wheat or the ones that held on to what the messenger taught. So he comes and start repeating the message. So then the ones that was with the messenger and loved the message and whatnot, then say, yeah, I knew that was right. I'm glad I held on. I knew it right. I don't know how that Wallace could have did that. See, he's coming back. Now, how... They're sitting at home listening. They're not hearing nothing that they can actually really go and participate in, because when they go, the people that he has there are so young and inexperienced, they don't take you telling them any instructions or giving them any instruction. So the only thing we could do is sit and listen to him. Then he runs out. The time expires for the reminding of the message. It expires. However, this is the first time that a transition is made and the person is still living. You see? In other words, usually before another significant prophet comes about, the one that was before him passes. Now, Minister Farrakhan has the nation, like it reads about Adonijah. He got the nation. But he's not the one to build it. So the one to build it is actually God himself, because he don't trust nobody else. Now, he's got the people that's going to back him up because they stuck with what the messenger taught, at least 144,000 of them. So now this one comes to gather the 144,000 before I actually destroy everything. But the minister, in the beginning, he don't see that to be true. And as time passes, he has put himself so far above everyone else. Now, in his mind, it would seem to be that he has become a fraud, and he don't want people to see him as that. So he has to do everything possible not for the people to see him. But that's like trying to put the light of the sun out. I teach. I'm not giving no message. I'm not reminding of no message. I may say some of the things that the messenger said just so that you can see the seriousness of the time and that I didn't lie to you. It's not that I'm coming up and saying, well, I'm bringing on the destruction and you didn't know nothing about it. We told you 40 years of it. Then almost 20 years of reminding of it, at least 15. So now when I come to actually do it, you can't charge me. You could have, if I didn't do that, you could have said, well, if you would have told me, I would have changed. I would have did. Well, why didn't you tell me? You can't. I did. A brother in Los Angeles came and told me, he came to a meeting and asked me a question. Well, seems to me, if you God, why you let all this happen? Looks like to me, you just a bump sitting on a log. In his mind, he think everything started today. Nothing started today. The fullness of what took place yesterday is happening today. I'm the teacher. I'm the comforter. This is why I can tell the brother, I got some things for you. If you make it just a little while longer, I will touch you and heal you. I'll look at you and be so in love with you and heal you just from my look. From the crowns of your head to the soles of your feet, you'll be whole. Every organ in your body will be working like a fine-tuned engine. That's what I'm going to be doing. I love to do it. And when I do that to you, immediately you'll see all the power that's around you. And you'll be able to do the same thing as me. You can point at it, or look at it, or just say to it, or spit at it. And it'll do what you want it to do. I'm going to teach this. The messenger never taught it, nor can Minister Farrakhan teach it. He don't know it. So that's the difference between him sitting on the nation and me being the nation.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Assalamu alaikum, Father.
Walaikum salam.
I would like to thank you for helping me and my family in the unseen.
Yes, ma'am.
And also would like to tell, you had asked us to watch the movie Brother John.
Yes, ma'am.
We went and rented that movie and it was very good. But we were saying that my husband said he might be Master Farad Muhammad.
Who, the man in the old man?
The man, yes. Sidney Poitier, the one that was
oh, no ma'am, no ma'am. He wasn't Master Farad Muhammad.
Who was he?
He was just what'd you say, a scout or the eyes and ears of God to bear witness and to give this white man. In other words, God can bear witness not from hearsay, but from his own eyes looking through him to see what this man has done. You know, he said, remember he said they're looking to jump off this planet and be like maggots and go someplace and be like maggots. He's talking about what the white, well, he just laid it out.
Oh, okay.
And remember what the man asked him. What is about to be asked now of me. You mean to tell me there is no chance?
Yeah.
There's nothing that can be done? How many seen Brother John? The ones that haven't seen it, go get the movie from Blockbusters, wherever they rent it from, Brother John, and look at it. And it'll show you this time in the old Caucasian was wise, but you see how silly his son was?
Very silly.
Very silly. That's why when we talk about the what you were talking about, the Muslim sons, they got knowledge. That's why now the dumb sons might run up and do something stupid, but the old men, they touch it up. Leave that alone. So that's he was just like an angel that come down to see for himself, to bear witness for his own self. God didn't nobody go and tell God, he saw it for himself.
I also have a request. On the Tallahassee tape of last year, I think,
yes,
you had asked the people in the audience who wanted you to go home with them. Now, I would like you to go home with me and my family.
Was that Tallahassee?
Was it Tallahassee?
Well, I remember making a statement.
Yes, sir.
I go home with you all the time, especially the ones that are with me. And this is how I do it. you accept the instructions that I give you, that's me. I won't give you something that will not work. If I tell you to go home and lie in a tub of salt water to ease your suffering, if you do it, I will know it works. If I tell you to go home and lie in the salt water and you go home and lie in hot water and don't put no salt in it, you didn't take me home. Now, however, I can go home with you in the unseen, in the force and power of my being. I can actually go with you. Now, that has to be for an express purpose or a reason that it's going to do something for you to enable you to do something more than just for yourself. More than just to have an experience. Because that will still make you look at me and see me, well, I'm the great one, I'm great, but I don't want you to see me that way. If it's going to be great, if I do something that way, it has to be what you call an emergency. You're falling out of the window, fifth floor window, and you're falling. And you get down and you hit the sidewalk, bam! And you get up and say, oh, you feel a little sore, and that's all. That's how I'll be with you. Now, this is what I do. I do quite often. Brothers that don't ask me knowingly that they're asking me. Especially during this time. And those of you that are listening to that at this tape, you have to be for real. That's the only way any of this will work. When you go, if you have the right relationship with your wife or your girlfriend, now, I'm not going to say you have to be married to her because most of you all don't have the right wife no how. A lot of you have more of the right girlfriends than you do the right wife. If you're speaking with her in the right manner, she's with you, and you want your love to be right and the love making to be right, at least twice a year I'll give you 3 experiences that you will never forget. Should I say that again?
Yes, sir.
Most of us think making love is something private, and that is, the making of love is private. However, you cannot do that and enjoy it to its maximum without me. Now, it don't mean I'm going there watching and I'm giving the extra push. It don't mean that. But in the totality of the whole love-making process, I deal with your thinking. And the purer you can think, the purer the act is. Are you listening? Yes, now, if you have the right woman with you, and this is welding you closer to be one, I will at least visit you 3 times until it gets to be you won't need me. I'm God. Now, if you don't want me to do it, I'll back up. You understand what's being said?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm in every facet of your life. Every facet. Not just some. That's what I do. You know why? Because that's something all of you do. Whether you do it with me in mind or Satan in mind, you still participate. Those of you that are old enough and some that are not, you still do it. Yes, sir. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Does that answer your question? There's quite a few other things I do also. I said that because that's something that everyone derives pleasure from. But there's a right way to participate in that. There's a right way to participate in that. Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam.
What if a person grew up under the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and worked for years? What are their reward if they didn't get their eggs under the messenger?
If they love what the messenger taught, and they were there for years and never received their eggs, well, then it would have to be from their thinking. In other words, I would have to know what circumstance that came about or situation that did not allow them to actually get their eggs. In other words, this may seem something simple of getting your eggs, but it is an open statement to yourself and to Allah that you no longer are owned or accept ownership from the Caucasian or your open enemy. Now, I don't know of any situation where we made it where if you were years under the teaching that you couldn't get your X. We had it set up where you could write in and get it. If you was living in the Florida Everglades, if you could get to the mailman, you could get your X. Now, if the person, we have some people that has done that we made them to do it. They are good-hearted people. They were there and did what they did for a purpose. Now, they will be with me. But we did it. But if we weren't involved and someone just did that, I would have to know, why didn't you get it? And if the explanation was acceptable, well, then you get the reward like the rest.
Yes, sir.
That's it? Yes, sir. Yes. I have what, 3 or 4 minutes left? That's why I didn't have no long introductory, because I know this time it passes. Boom, just like that. Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
And enjoyed you, Godfather. I want to ask you a question. You know, some people got a lot of hair on their bodies, and that seems like I've heard about how many strands of hair on a man's head.
You mean on a sheep's body? Or
a man, you know, like the Caucasian. Some of them are hairy all over.
You want to know how many strands of hair?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't counted that.
Oh, okay.
In the sense of counting the strands of hair on their head. However, we do have on our lessons about how many hairs is in a square inch on the sheep's back. You know, and that hair that we have there, or wool, we can make it to serve us in a way that is pleasant. But the hair on the open enemy is very few things we can do with that.
Okay. And
it was a reason why why did you want to know?
Yeah, it seemed like to me before I've heard somewhere that so many strands of hair on a man's head.
So yes, sir.
To me it come from Elijah. I don't remember how many. Well, another question I wanted to ask you.
Yes, sir. I recall that also. However, that didn't come from the messenger. A lot of things came right and put the messenger's name to it, but that wasn't necessary. However, the open enemy has a lot of hair because he's 3/4 beast. When he was in the hills and caves for almost 2,000 years, and with no clothes, the make of the body is very, very, very good. So he started producing what it needed to clothe itself in his hair.
Okay. And I want to know about, shed a little light on the pyramids, how you made them, like each one of them weighs a rock, you know, and you send it into the air, and how many. Okay. I want to shed a little light on the pyramids, how you made them, and, you know, how you sending them into air, and how much they weigh, and you cut them to a certain size.
Yes, sir.
Constructed them because it's the most closest thing to perfect, one of them.
Well, what I do when we speak about the pyramids, without getting into any real deep science about it, to keep from me giving away some secrets to those that are listening, I talk about the part that they can't do anything about. We use our mind as far as levitating the stones and even to smooth them. We have a wind that we bring, and certain molecules in the wind that fills in every molecule or every vacant pores, or what we call pores. It fills it up and smooths it over and tightens it together, and it makes it very smooth. So, and we do it in such a way and slant the rocks or the pillars in such a way where it don't need no mortar, but it won't fall, because the way it's not cut the way we smooth it. However, it's not there so much as to show knowledge. It's there for the lack of knowledge that the man is expressing on this planet. This planet produces energy, and it must be used. And if it's not used as fast as it's produced, it will disintegrate. It'll be like a bomb, poof. So to keep that from happening, since we knew that knowledge was going to decrease, we brought about a structure that will allow the energy to escape. It's like a valve on a pressure cooker. to allow it to escape so we can keep the earth intact. And when the earth is building up more than even what it can release or protect, then we have the volcanoes. It comes out in that way. If the volcanoes were stopped up and there were no pyramids and we still operate at a level of intelligence at which we operate now, the earth would literally disintegrate. They couldn't hold the power. Now, I won't get into how many and why, because they're still trying to find out some things they don't know. But come to the class, and we really look at you and whatnot and see that you're not working for him. We'll give you some bits and pieces. Believe me, all this is going to be known. At first, I want the 144,000 to come. I appreciate you all coming out. I hope the next time I come that we have a much larger audience, much larger place. It'll be in a place that will be more ours. And we'll be able to get into some things. Keep your eye on nature. And keep your eye on me. If you're with me, I won't let nothing hurt you. If you're only with me a little bit, I'm only going to protect you a little bit. All right? Don't go no place. The secretary is coming up now. He's going to say a couple words and take advantage of the table as quickly as possible and see if you can get the tapes. Salam alaikum.